going to segue into our featured speaker. Mr. Jacob Barnes is the planning director for Springfield Township. So what better to ask the person about what's going on, the person who plans it all. So Jacob, you get to take it away for the next 20 minutes, sir.
Thank you. Can you guys hear me?
Yes.
Yeah, hey.
Good. I'm on my laptop today, so I'm glad you can hear me this time.
Yeah, perfect.
I noticed everybody was announcing what they drank. This is pretty boring, just the regular Ice Mountain water for me. I drink a lot of water in the mornings. Love my water. Once in a while, it'll be some type of tea, but very boring today anyways. I know Lou mentioned, and I'll mention this right off the bat, broadband, and at least as it refers to Holland and Springfield, we're getting a lot of the 5G micro towers, they call them. You've probably seen some over near Spring Meadows. They're basically these micro 5G antennas that are mounted on telephone poles. Most of them are in the right of way. We don't issue permits and we don't really control them, but I know several have been placed around the Springfield Township area. So hopefully that will continue to improve the broadband needs in the area. I did want to touch on too, 2020 has been I don't even need to say it, but it's been a wild and crazy year for many reasons. Going back to March, that's typically about the time where things really start to heat up, development wise. Nowadays, building goes on year round, but consistently in the springtime, that's when, the activity really ramps up. Well, as you know, that's also when COVID was ramping up mid-March. And then that kind of put everything, to a halt. Many of us have, worked from home at times, back and forth to the office. So COVID kind of threw a huge wrench, really commercially was the biggest effect that I noticed. Right when you have a lot of activity that's starting, everybody kind of went into a holding pattern, it seemed like, commercially. So the other thing is with more people home, we've seen a huge spike in all sorts of residential activity. And that continues on until now. But back to business, COVID has really affected lots and lots of businesses, even here in the Holland Springfield Township area. But I think overall we've weathered this COVID pandemic very well. For example, so in our main commercial area, which is the Spring Meadows area, basically, we do business inventories for our joint economic development district in that area. And we did one back in January. And then we did a follow-up here just in July. And in that whole area of the it's about 480 businesses and owners, we had 19 that had either moved or closed. And then we had 12 that were new or newly started businesses. So really, we only had a net loss of about 7 businesses in our district. Most of those were very minor businesses. They weren't, the large employers of the district. So seeing that, I thought was encouraging overall, considering the circumstances. That's the latest as far as raw numbers go in our joint economic development zone. I wanted to also touch on projects that we're doing in that zone. So with our joint economic development zone, if you're not familiar with it, there's a joint economic development zone board that, sorry, mute my phone there. The joint economic development district zone board, they meet once a month, but Josh and I, Josh Torres, the CEO of the chamber, we facilitate the Business Advisory Council for that district. And what that is it's a group of business owners who all have businesses in that district. And basically, we facilitate their input. What do they want to see done with the funds that they're paying, their income taxes. And we've gotten some great input from that board. And as you know, everything takes time. So we are working on all sorts of different projects. I'll touch on a couple of them, but really all of these projects stem from what the business owners in the district want. And then, with the township's input, with the board's input, we're able to start seeing some of these projects go forward. One minor one, and you probably haven't even noticed really, is the intersection, Airport Highway 475. We signed a mowing contract, so we're having that privately done now. ODOT will go through there and mow it maybe twice, maybe 3 times a year, and it starts to look crappy and you start to get trash and stuff around. So we've switched that over to private maintenance now, and that was a huge long process of things to go through, but that's starting to look better and better, and that's just a very initial start to really the cosmetic improvements to that interchange. Coming very soon is our branding project, which you'll see with new fencing and a welcome to Springfield Township on the overpass at Airport Highway there. That's been all approved, and we're in the very final details of picking out the colors and things like that. But that'll be a huge visual impact to anyone traveling northbound into the township. You'll see, hey, we're entering someplace that's special. It's not the norm. It's different. It's special. We're going to do the same thing on Bancroft too. So anybody that's heading southbound into Springfield Township from the north, you'll see the same thing. You'll see a really nicely designed welcome to Springfield Township message. So those are a couple things that we will be seeing done very soon here. And also the fencing. And if you really start noticing some of these details, they've just been neglected over the years. And it's not a township or a village thing. It's, ODOT has their basic standards. If you've been by Hollywood Casino, you can see how nice that looks with their wrought iron style fencing. We've approved the same exact thing on a few portions of our interchange as well. So the standard chain link fencing will be removed. That'll be improved. So little by little, with all these subtle changes, we think it's really going to add up to something really, really nice. And you've all probably noticed other interchanges, both in Ohio and Michigan. There's some that look way better than others, and that's not an accident. There's a lot of thought and effort behind that. So we're getting there gradually, and many other projects on that front are in the pipeline, things to come. In fact, we're looking at right now from 475 to McCord Road, various improvements to really beautify that entire area. In addition, the Spring Meadows Drive South is what we're calling it, between Wendy's and IHOP. Right now, you cannot connect back into where Hobby Lobby is. We're working on a new connection there, so you'll be able to access businesses much better in that. And that's something that really should have been done years ago. It's something that's been talked about for many years, but the initial phases of that we're working on, and hopefully that'll go to engineering here very soon. In addition to all that stuff, still talking about that area, is we're looking at increased pedestrian access as well. So you'll see some pedestrian paths going. You'll see some bike and pedestrian routes. So, as you know, it's an extremely busy area, lots of cars in that area. But there are pedestrians that also use that area, and you see them even walking over the overpass sometimes. So working on many aspects of the pedestrian access issues that we have in that area. So it just all takes lots of time, but we're working through all these great improvements, and we think this will definitely have a trickle-down effect to business and economic development in the area. And that's the input we're getting from business owners, and they seem to be very encouraged with what's going on. So I'll continue to have updates on that in the future, because it's just one of those constants that a lot of things are in process. Speaking of that district, I'll touch, and some of you have heard of a few of these coming up, but I'll touch on a few of the up and coming grand openings and ribbon cuttings that you'll all be invited to as soon as we get dates. But Art Van Furniture, as you all know, Art Van went out of business. That building's been sitting there for a few months empty. Love's Furniture will be going in there. Love's Furniture, they purchased 24 Art Van locations. So they're not just going to be here, but they're going to be in many other areas. And so far, very impressed with the company. They are very excited to be here. They've also indicated, now, as you're aware, we've had various chamber events there in the past, luncheons. They've been very supportive to the community. And Love's has indicated the exact same thing. They want to pick right up where Art Van left off. They want to be active in the community. They want to be in the chamber, and hopefully we'll be able to do events there in the future as things clear up a little bit. And a lot of their employees, in fact, I think here locally, it's like 70% are former Art Van employees. So it's nice to see that, they were able to rehire a lot. I think they mentioned overall it was about 3,000 employees company-wide that were laid off because of Art Van going out of business. So it's nice to see a lot of those employees being called back at not only locally, but other locations as well. So don't have any dates yet as far as an official ribbon cutting, but we'll be sure to get the word out on that. Chase Bank, you've also probably noticed on Airport Highway, right in front of Spring Meadows. That used to be the Shell gas station and Pita Pit. Chase is finishing up their new building there, and hoping to have a grand opening there here within the next couple of weeks as well. Also keeping it in Spring Meadows over by Big Lots, La Vie Mediterranean Grill. They're going to be opening very soon. It's a Mediterranean restaurant. I believe they have other locations up in Michigan. So we've been in constant talks with them, and they're hoping to open soon. So as soon as we hear of an opening date, we'll let you know on that one as well. Going a little bit farther to the west, Magic Walk is going to be converted to Moe's Southwest Grill. That's in process. They're going to be renovating that building, and looking forward to having them here in the township. And in addition, if you go a little bit farther down, many of you probably have seen the O'Reilly's that's been built right across from AutoZone, just west of Holloway. A beautiful building. It's probably one of the nicest O'Reilly's I think I've seen. And that was another result of really working with them and coming up with a great plan there. So they too, they're hoping to open soon at that location. So right there is 5 businesses, all hoping to open within the next month or so, which is awesome to see. The last few months, like I mentioned earlier, have been kind of a holding pattern, at least for businesses, kind of waiting to see how this pandemic is going to play out. And many now have chosen to, continually move forward and open up in the township. And last but not least, you probably heard the rumors of Culver's wanting to build a new restaurant in Spring Meadows. That too is still in process. That's at the very beginning phases, but we're really excited to have them open up in the Spring Meadows area. And that's going to be behind Boston Market, in front of Spring Meadows, but behind the businesses that are on Airport Highway. So good location. Hope they have great success when they open. And I'll continue to update you on that front as well. And before I conclude, I wanted to touch briefly on Door Street. That's another huge project that's going on that's going to have a great effect, not just on Holland and Springfield, but really the whole area. The city of Toledo is going to be affected by that. And if you've driven in that area recently, it's amazing the change that's out there. It looks entirely different than what it looked like before. Right now, it's westbound traffic is open. So if you go over to Holland, Sylvania, I encourage you take a drive west of Holland, Sylvania, heading towards McCord Road, and you won't believe what you see. It looks like a totally different place. The roundabout initial phases are complete. The roundabout that's west of immediately west of the interchange where that's going to be, and also the roundabout at McCord and Door is very nearing completion there. So that area is, we're expecting a ton of economic activity, working with a few developers right now as far as developing their properties. And, we thought ahead on this one. So we had our regulations ready to go, tailor-made to fit that area, have had great relationships with the property owners in that district. And we're trying to work with the other various agencies, the county, the state, to really try to keep pushing development forward, because we'll have many, many grand openings in that area coming very soon. And in that area too, we created a joint economic development district. There's a joint economic development board that's now been formed with the support of the property owners and business owners. So we'll see a lot of great reinvestment into that area, as we move forward. So as you can see, there's tons of activity in Springfield Township and Holland, and we're very excited as we continue to move forward. We talk all the time, it's just little by little. We can't change everything overnight, but now we're going on probably 10 years of working at all these various changes, especially when you look at the Spring Meadows area. So little by little, I think all those changes are adding up. Those redevelopments and new developments, they're adding up into really a nice area. And we're nowhere near being finished either. There's plenty of work to do. And I think you'll see here in the next months and upcoming years that things are really going to be improving. And I think that's going to have a great effect on business as well. It's going to be an even more desirable area. More businesses are going to want to locate, and it'll have a great effect on the township, the village, and the Chamber of Commerce. So that was pretty much in a nutshell what's going on in the area. And like I said, a lot of exciting stuff. We're hoping that this pandemic, we're able to move forward despite the challenges that's posed. But thank you again for having me. It was a pleasure to be able to update everyone. And anyone has any comments or questions, I'd be glad to attempt to answer them.
No, I think, sorry, go ahead.
What was the name of that furniture store again that's going to be going into Art Van?
Love's Furniture. So it's just like the Love's truck stops. Love's
Okay.
Separate company, but yeah.
I think I mean, one of the things that really stood out is like you guys, because you go into the Toledo area and everything kind of gets lumped in together, and you're like, oh, and then you're driving through there and you just assume you're in Toledo. I think it's great that you guys are separating yourselves and saying like, hey, we're this is our little community too. And I think that's what I've seen the most about the area is it is kind of it's part of that Toledo region up there, but you guys really have found a great way to separate yourselves and kind of have that small community feel, especially with the business owners. And with all this has been happening, it's great to see everybody kind of come together. And I think that's awesome that you have that board that you can say, hey, I can't do this without the input of the business owners, because we pretty much are what makes everything work. So it's awesome that you guys take that much into consideration when it comes to doing all your planning. So
thank you.
So how long have you been in this position?
I've been here over 18 years. It's hard to even believe that.
18 years. So is there one project that really sticks out to you, that when they say like, hey, what was the biggest challenge that you had?
Not one specific, but I think a grouping of things that have been really important. 10 years ago, we totally updated our code with a goal to make it business friendly, make it friendly for development. I think that's had a big effect. It was great to be a part of that process. I didn't even mention this, but our new land use plan, our new master plan, I was on the steering committee for that. And that's been a great accomplishment. It's in the final stages of its approval. So very proud of that document as well. I think that'll continue to guide development, in the years to come. And every single one of the projects that I've had the privilege to review and, to work with, they're all unique, they're all great projects, and glad to see each and every one of them. So you touched on the identity, and I think that's extremely important too, because still most people, when they're getting off at Airport Highway, assume that it's Holland or they assume it's Toledo. There's no identity. So with this branding and some of these signage and stuff to come, that's going to further that and really identify us as our own community. We're not Toledo, we're different. And that's the goal,
Yeah, I think that's a great step. With about 3 minutes left, does anybody have any other questions or comments?
The only other question I have is, I just noticed the other day when I was coming down airport that the old Sears building, what's American Freight's in there or something, or some business. How long have they been in there?
That was probably within the past 6 months as well. That Sears has been selling a lot of their locations. So it's basically about the same type of business as what it was before. And speaking of that, you bring that up, working on plans to build a building right next to that as well, but it's very preliminary. But there'll probably be a commercial building going up in that site right next door to them. So hopefully that kind of helps that business too, because if you go by there, there's just not much activity, and we hope that they'll succeed too.
Good.
Awesome. Anyone else, guys?
Well, Jacob, it sounds like you're doing an awesome job for your business community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Although I don't live in Holland, I wish other communities had that concept of pulling businesses in and getting their input. I do business, and I am in and out of Holland, have friends there and stuff like that. But it's just neat to see what's transforming there, what you guys are creating and what's going on. So thanks.
Yeah, thank you.
Awesome. Well, I couldn't say it better myself, Jake. So I'll go ahead and leave it with that. Guys, if you don't have any more announcements, I did want to announce one more time the golf outing coming up in a couple weeks. It's going to be a great event. Like I said, it's one of the few that we have that's coming up that they'll still be able to go outside. And I know a lot of them got canceled, but we're trying to kind of keep everything semi-normal. Some of the golf outings that I've seen have done really, really well. People just want to get out there and kind of mingle again. So if you haven't done that yet, go to the hschamber.com and register. And then that's pretty much it, guys. I hope you have a fantastic day, and go out and enjoy your Tuesday. The weather's fantastic, so go out and enjoy it. So, all right, guys, that concludes the meeting.
Thanks
See ya.
again, Jake.
Good to see everyone.
Have a good one.